Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. Okay. So today, this is a slightly random one. This is a little recording here. This is going to go out to membership first, and then I'll probably release this on, I think probably Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday. Today's date is, it is now the 28th of May 2024, and it's 13 minutes past 1 a.m. in the morning. I've been out all day. I had a fascinating day today. My goodness. And because a new friend of I've made as well wanted a signed copy of the book and all of that kind of stuff, and I did that today, and I met a very, very interesting character. He used to be a lot in the entertainment industry, on TV entertainment and stuff like that. Quite a famous character in London, who is now does a lot of spiritual work and stuff like that. And I was at the Mind, Body, and Spirit festival today in a festival. Mind, Body, Spirit festival in Earl's Court, which is a big display. Kensington Olympia, that's where I was, which is where they have a lot of big international exhibitions. And it was there, and it was fascinating. I'll probably be posting up some pictures from it on my community channel tomorrow. So that was a lot of fun. And what is today's about a lot? I've got the tarot cards today. And I wanted to. This thing has just been gnawing at me a little bit, and I want to look at three people today. I want to look at Justice Alito and what's going on with him, and we'll refresh our memories to see, if he might have to recuse himself, etc. Apparently, he's going to be hauled in front of the Democrats. Want to look at Duck Larange, aka Trump, because of course this week at some point that jury is gonna give its verdict, and also want to take a discreet look as well at Kate as well, to see how she's feeling, to see how she's going on, because things are really kind of developing, guys, and there's a lot of narrative coming out. And for those that may not know, she is now being said by royal sources in official kind of media, not, this ain't speculation. They're saying now that Kate is not going to be seen for a year. Yeah, she's not going to be seen for a year. Bear in mind as well, we have also as well not seen the kids. Well, we've seen George, but we've not seen Charlotte or Princess Charlotte or Prince Louis. Other than photographs, and one of them of Louis was an old one, and even saying the one of Charlotte was old. So I just want to read that energy. I just want to see how she's doing, just making sure that she's okay. We all want her to recover. And Callejo, the Spanish Contra Callejo, the Spanish media, who have been actually kind of, looks like they might be quite valid with a lot of the stuff that they're saying. They're saying she might have to go into surgery again in August, which again would make sense, wouldn't it, in terms of with the things that are going on. And I can't remember what type of operation it is that she's had, but I made a note of it in my phone, so I'll dig that out later. I want to say a thank you as well. Thank you to everyone who has bought the book so far. Much appreciated. Wonderful reviews. Thank you so much. In fact, what I thought I'd do is, let me just do let's do present screen. Let's just do share screen. Quickly do this, and I'm going to probably spend maybe 10 to 15 minutes on each person that I mentioned. Let me just do the share here. Should be able to see this. All right, so this should be sharing now. So here it is, the Candid Guide to Neo-Vedic Astrology. Oh my goodness, wow, I've got 18 reviews now. Oh, lovely. And so this is it here, of course. So for those of you, I know that many of you have been thinking about getting the book. You're also waiting for payday, which I understand as well. Here you can see, here's the the zoom in. Oh, she did such a good job, the designer. But this is actually one of my original concept designs as well. But of course, she got that sorted for me. So here it is here, and then look, here's look. So look, we've got Linda G's book here, and here we've got Lena's book here as well. Wonderful. That's so cool. Let's have a click here. Oh gosh, look at that. Wow. All 5-star. That's wonderful. Thank you so much, guys. Honestly, it's much appreciated. So here's some of the reviews here. Someone saying it's a phenomenal book. All verified purchase as well. No fakes here. This is genuine reviews. People saying it's an excellent book. Good introduction to Vedic astrology. One of the best books on astrology ever. Wow. Thank you. That's very kind from Lady P. And you can just see it's here for yourself. So if you've been, you've been thinking, I fancy it all, but I'm not sure. Well, you can see you're not going to be disappointed. And here, some more reviews here as well. So it's been very, very positive, and I just feel really humbled by it all, really. And very readable for everyone. This one, look, you can see this is 23rd of May. So, oh, look, this one's 24th. Entertaining and informative. Oh, Rhonda Rodriguez, highly recommend this book. I'm learning about astrology. Find this book captivating. Hogarth style really keeps me engaged, eager to keep learning. Awesome book, Hogarth. That's very, very kind. So I will stop the share there. You can see it there for yourself. I just thought I would share that. So much appreciated, folks. And let's get into the read. And of course, you can get on Kindle, hardcover, and paperback as well. And also as well, if you've got Amazon Prime as well, it's on Kindle Unlimited as well. So let's just do stop share there on that. And that should take me back to the screen. And let's look at Justice Alito. Let's look at Justice Alito. My goodness, this guy. I was thinking like, I must do a deep dive on him, and I actually have already. But I think this was probably a couple of years ago now, where I was looking at his extremism. So actually, just to bring ourselves, you guys might know the story. You will know the story. Let's do share screen again, and let's go to the article that I found from the UK's Guardian. So if we see this one here, Samuel Alito's wife claimed, let's just cross that. Samuel Alito's wife claimed upside down flag was intentional sign of distress, she says. Senate Democrats seek meeting with Chief Justice Justice John Roberts to discuss issue and seek Alito's recusal on January 6th cases. I mean, for me personally, I think that should happen a while ago, but, at least, stuff has come out. So it says that the wife of Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito reportedly justified the display of an upside down American flag at the couple's home by saying it was an international signal of distress, as senior Democrats have requested a meeting with the Chief Justice over the growing scandal. Martha Ann Alito made the comments to a Washington Post reporter, the outlet reported on Saturday, when the journalist visited the couple's Virginia home on January 21st, not long after the attack on the U.S. Capitol by extremist supporters of Donald Trump. So she reportedly told the Washington Post at the time that the flag had been run up the flagpole in that way in response to a neighborhood dispute. So here we are. Flying stars and stripes flags upside down is acceptable as rare distress signal according to the official US flag code. But these days it's more often associated with activists making an extremist sign of protest. And at the time of the January 6th insurrection, it had been adopted by some of the far right amid efforts ultimately unsuccessful to overturn Joe Biden's 2020 election victory over Trump. So there's that. And also as well, It's frozen again. I hope. Oh, now it's gone a little bit. Anyway. You know, sometimes, you know, these things. Anyway, that was swiftly followed by a second report. Remember when I looked at Kate and it all chewed up? And by the way, once the show finished, my computer was perfect, by the way. So I have to watch out for that one. That was swiftly followed by a second report from the Times that another flag, one originally associated with the American Revolution, but now associated with the far right and known as the Appeal to Heaven flag, was flying last year above a holiday home of the Alitos in New Jersey. So look, there you can see an example of the flag flown upside down there. So let's look into that. Let's look into this. And let's see what the energy around Alito is and if there will be any repercussions for him getting up to this stuff, which is pretty outrageous. You know, look, as you know, I've been saying for quite a long time now, they are corrupt. Yeah, they are corrupt for entertainment purposes only. It is of my opinion, and the cards seem to always suggest it, that basically, look, the Supreme, as far as I'm concerned, the Supreme Court, they want to help Duck L'Orange. Yeah. They try not to be as brazen about it, say like a Judge Cannon or something like that, who's just basically a stooge, an apostate. You know, but it's becoming increasingly difficult to defend their position, particularly as they're kind of throwing aspersions or undermining the rulings of other courts, because these are courts that are trying to, you know, bring justice. And he's been through the, you know, fair trial process, etc. And, you know, and also as well, you've got some of the states that want to take him off the ballot, and now, you know, they're doing this, that, and the other, and it's all this kind of slow walking stuff. And irrespective of whatever a person thinks about Trump, some people, obviously there are still some people that want to vote for him, etc. and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, justice has to happen. It has to happen. And we all know what happened on January 6th. We all know. I predicted. I actually saw it. I actually predicted that something big. I said Trump is going to try and stage some kind of coup. There's going to be some kind of violence or argy-bargy. He's going to try and incite people because he's running out of options, etc., and all that stuff. And for those of you that read my newsletter, that was in my Ivanka video, Christmas special that I did. That was in that. And I think a week or so, a couple of weeks before that, I'd also made that prediction as well, because of the solar eclipse happening on Trump's moon at the time. Look at this. Look what fell out. He, Alito, and his wife are working hard on plans. Yeah, this is a card of effort, studiousness, trying to be productive. Yeah, but productive on what? I think we know what it is. All right, let's see what the next cards are. Interesting that fell out. Let's pull here. What are they trying to be productive on? I'm going to pull 5 cards. Let's have that 8 of Pentacles as the signifier. As you know, I pick with my eyes closed. Let Spirit kind of guide me. What is it that they're working hard on? If we see the things like 7 of Swords, which is trying to get away with something, if we get the High Priestess, something like that, or the Moon, then we know subterfuge is afoot. Or the Devil, of course, would be a very obvious one. So let's see what's going on here. Interesting. Okay, so Alito, what are they working on? Here we've got the Knight of Wands, which is all about what? Passion, you know, uprising. In a way, you can say that, because look, you see the horse is angled up. Now the Knight of Swords I consider one of the fastest in the deck, but this is a pretty fast card as well. And remember, wands are all to do with passion. Yeah, passion. sometimes conflict, because it's the element of fire. So there's always a Martian element going on here when it comes to wands, because wands is associated with fire, or the fire signs. So this is, of course, very passionate action here. Also, as well, when I flashed my eyes over Alito's chart, he's also a Sagittarius rising in his chart, and of course Sagittarius, of course, is the centaur, yeah, the horseman. So here we are, we see a horse here rearing up. So I think this is really talking about Alito, and I think this is Alito's defiance, defiance. But, you know, the wife is taking the blame, but at the end of the day, if you're justice, you're supreme justice, and your spouse is winching up flags, upside down, and also winching up flags or whatever over your holiday home with a flag that's, also associated with insurrection and stuff like that, you can't just blame your wife for that. Yeah, we know what's going on. So I think this is Alito. Now, if we look here, we've got the Strength card, yeah, but it is turning up in the second position, and the Strength card, the card that turns up in the second position in this 5-card spread, can be considered reversed. Yeah, when the Strength card is the right way up, it does deal with virtue. Essentially, it's supposed to deal with virtue, self-restraint, piety. If we look here, we see she's wearing this very kind of virginal dress, and you have the flowers. And the whole idea here is that with the Strength card, she's not using brute force on the lion. Do you see? And the lion is letting her open his mouth. So it's also showing the trust, because she's almost like she's got a divine power. She doesn't need to use force. However, when this card is reversed, it is the opposite of virtue. This can often even refer to bestial instincts, or a moral corruption. Yeah, moral corruption. When it's the right way up, it's virtue. When it's reversed, it's moral corruption. So technically, this card is reversed. So the moral corruption of who? Yes, an Alito, yeah, who's been working very hard on things, yeah, these plans, hammering out these plans, working hard, probably with a few co-conspirators, again, for entertainment purposes only, but you know what I'm saying. So when we look at that now, if we look what's in the middle, here we got the King of Pentacles. So here we go. It's the money men, but this could also be a certain Duck L'Orange as well. Yeah, he often turns up here. It can be, he's often the King of Pentacles. The King of Wands is another one for Duck L'Orange. The Star, but with my interpretation of the Star, sometimes the Emperor, but he's normally, or the Devil. Yeah. So here, but what this is really talking about, I think this is talking about how the money changes hands behind the scenes. We already know with Justice Thomas that he's been accepting holidays, etc., and stuff like that. So is Alito. I think all of them pretty much. I don't want to tar them all with the same brush, but backhanders and envelope stuff with cash and perks and stuff. I understand Eileen Cannon has also been treated a few holidays and stuff like that. So this is also the money men and women that are in the background support, shall we say. Now look at this. We get the victory card turning up here, but a victory for who? Is it a victory for those plans that Alito is working on? They're certainly focused on what? Someone's victory. So if we take this as Duck L'Orange, yeah, then it looks like Alito is working hard, maybe with others, going out there with his passionate, almost kind of frothing at the mouth kind of self. I mean, I think Hillary just said, he's properly radical, with these potentially less than saintly values, in order to maybe potentially help that the orange one, yeah, or this is also as well can be benefactors, lobbyists, stuff like that. But I'm interpreting that as well as Duck L'Orange to what? Assist in some kind of victory, yeah, over who? Look at this. We know when we're talking about politics, when the King of Cups turns up, particularly when we're talking about American politics, this can often talk about Biden. So the way I'm interpreting this, based on what I see in the cards and based on the past chart readings that I've done of Alito, and of course sharing that article, I didn't want to read the whole thing through for you. For me, this is very much about him working hard, passionately, with corrupt values to support Duck Larange, to assist him in a victory over Biden. Yeah, that's how I'm seeing it. Let's pull some clarifiers to see if that will succeed. Did you see that? Look, just shuffled. I said to see if that will succeed, and Spirit answered immediately. It's going to be tough. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. What this suggests here is, look at this, the top and tail. He's a very determined character, and I think he's determined to undermine. Oh, look, another jumper. Look at this. Look, collusion, working together. Look, it's the Three of Pentacles. Yes, it's not just that he's working hard in isolation, which I never thought it was, but look, working together with others. Let's pull one more. Do you see how Spirit is just coming through with the cards, with these jumpers? Who else? Let's see. I'm going to close my eyes here. Let's see who else. Who else is he working with? God, imagine if it was the Devil card that showed up. But anyway, I don't want to prejudge it. Who else is he working with? Who is he collaborating with? Oh, Spirit, let me know. Whatever card. Yeah. Oh, illusions and delusions. He's deluded. He's deluded. He's deluded. Yeah. It's a deluded ideology that he has. Yeah. Here's the passion. Yeah. Rearing up. Fire signs. Yeah. He's a Sagittarius rising. Sagittarius is all about what the law, concepts of the law. It's also known as the battlefield. But ultimately, look, his ideas are deluded. He's not in touch with reality. The people that he's coordinating with, they're unhinged. Yeah. So it's hard. It's super hard work for him to try and defeat, Biden, again, for entertainment purposes only. He's collaborating with others, but look, they're deluded. Yeah. I think that's the only way I can really interpret that. So I hope you find that interesting. Dodgy as you know what. If I would have my way, I'd have him struck off of everything because he's morally unfit, morally bankrupt, as that strength card reversed would attest. All right, let's look at Duck Larange. Let me have a quick slurp of water. And I'm going to read into the energy of the case, yeah? From what I understand, and please let me know in the comments. So remember, this is going out. I've been out all day, but this is now Tuesday, the 28th of May, 2024, but it's 1:36 a.m. this time. So for you guys watching, or while this is happening, it is still the 27th in America. So I'm obviously, Greenwich Mean Time. And I've been out all day, so I've not been able to kind of check up on the news. But from what I understand, from the last bit of news that I saw, which I think was a day or so ago, they're expecting the case to conclude this week. So let's see, what is the energy for Trump in regard to this case, and how is it likely to play out for him? Many pundits are saying it looks like he's going to be found guilty, but let's just see what the cards are saying. All right, let's see what the cards are saying. Duck Larange, this case, in terms of outcomes, what's the energy, cards? What's the energy of outcomes for Duck Larange? If the cards are dire, then obviously we know that it's not going to be so great. If they're mediocre, then ho-hum. If he gets fabulous cards, then maybe there might be some kind of miracle intervention, but it's unlikely. But let's see what the cards have to say. Declarange. The outcome of the case. Let's have a look. Let's see what Crispy Declarange got. Well, look at that. It's pretty much there. All right. The energy of everything. Walking away. Yeah, walking away from things. Now, who is walking away here? Now, can Trump technically walk away from this? I mean, that would imply that he's able to walk away, or does this mean that his isolation, him having to walk away from the main stage because he's in jail? Now, if he's found guilty, I'm sure he's going to be appealing it up to the eyeballs, crying out to the Supreme Justices and stuff like this, and trying to drag it out as much as possible. But I would say, if he is found guilty, could this be some of the electorate that walks away? I think the diehard, crusty diehard, rusted on people, they're obviously, they're always going to vote Declarange because it's not about his moral character for them. It's about the grievance, but it's also about what they believe that Trump can do potentially for them. Yeah. And this is why it's not really had that much of a dent or an effect. However, he does have to win over independent voters. And my instinct is, if he is convicted, I think that's when more people are actually going to kind of walk away. And if too many people work, because I believe that it's going to be pretty close, you lose the independence, that's it. He's not going to be able to win. It's unlikely he's going to win the popular vote. But him getting convicted, this is what I see. I think these are the undecideds who could be potentially walking away. If we look here in the obstacle position, we've got the Ace of Cups, which is normally a very positive card, talking about, overwhelming, flowing positive emotions, etc. All of this kind of stuff. It's a very positive card. But of course, the second card is technically a reversal, especially if the first card is not positive. If the first card is positive, you can sometimes read it just the way it is. So here, this is talking about what the emotions really kind of just being out of control. This is, sadness, upset, tumult, emotional volatility, in many ways the complete opposite of what this card is like when it's the right way up. I think this is really speaking about how Trump will potentially feel if he's convicted. So look, we see that there is this energy here. However, as you know, as you've always heard me say for the longest time, his gift is grift. What is he going to do? He's going to lament. He's going to try and give a new offer. But how many people are going to be buying it? I don't know if you guys saw. Let me know if you saw in the comments. But I saw recently Trump was at the speech, isn't it, for libertarians or something like that. Did you hear the level of booing that he got? In some of his more recent, rallies, there's been the odd little boo, like, oh no, boo here's. This was sustained. This was sustained booing. Some applause, but the boos really were quite resounding. And now remember, the libertarians and all this stuff. These are part of these independent voters as well. So that it doesn't bode well, does it, for Declarange? Because the point is this. Once something is in a court of law, when it came to like the inquiry and stuff like that, people could dismiss that. People could dismiss it. Well, it's just a witch hunt, blah, blah, blah. But when people stand up in court and they present their evidence, and this evidence seems to be corroborated and all this, it gets harder. The plausible deniability starts to fade. Yeah. And even though it seems that, what's his name? Cohen seemed to have a little bit of a slip up in court. They're saying, well, it may not make too much impact on that. I certainly hope it doesn't, because the evidence is overwhelming. And of course, Stormy Daniels is basically given a stellar, you know, performance. But her, talking of candidness, her testimonies have been so candid and furnished with so much detail. You'd have to be an absolute imbecile to think that she's lying. And I think that once her testimony came out, I think that was really game set and match. But we'll have to see. But either way, until the last minute, this is now, oh, could it be that he is made an offer? I bloody hope not. But look at that. He might be made an offer. That this could be a plea deal. If it's really looking like the you know what is hitting the fan, could it be that Trump's team tries to come up with some kind of plea deal? Because after all, this is the night which is often making some kind of offer, but this can also be the insincere night as well. So this could speak about Duck L'Orange giving his speeches or trying to raise money off this, etc. Or he maybe offered some kind of plea deal, or maybe this is something softer, because this is still quite a soft card. As you've heard me saying before, I've never quite seen him go into prison. I've always thought it would be a bit of house arrest at Mar-a-Lago. He deserves, obviously, a lot more than that. And of course, what will happen when he's under house arrest at Mar-a-Lago? Guess what? The world's media, or many American media, is going to go to Mar-a-Lago, put a microphone on one of those long boom, whatevers, dangle it over the fence, and Duck L'Orange will make his proclamations from there. Most probably, it wouldn't shock me at all. They'll have the helicopters going and the whole lot, because to be honest, guys, you may or may not agree, but I strongly suspect that the media really kind of want to keep this going, because he's quite juicy clickbait for them. And I know that's probably a bit cynical to say, but this is what I've been sensing for the longest time. And Duck L'Orange knows that. This is why he's always going for the spectacle. So if it's looking dire, he or his team may try and come up with some kind of plea bargain, and he may be made an offer. However, look, the Seven of Cups comes back again. So again, illusions and delusions. Maybe when the writing's really, really on the wall, his team try and make a plea offer, but it's just delusional by this stage, yeah, because maybe it's game, set, and match. And then what is it all about? Look, it's the money. So obviously you can't bribe the judge. I think this is talking about literally the hush money, but this is also can be interpreted as fool's gold. So I think increasingly those that have supported Trump may start to actually see through a little bit some of the illusions and delusions, or it could just be a case that they may not be willing to give so much money anymore. This could also speak about Trump's investments as well. But one can also say as well, he may go to his supporters with an offer, the ones that are still delusional, and try and raise more money out of them, yeah? But overall, I think they're going to be walking. The independents are going to be walking away because they're going to be disgusted, with what they've seen so far. So it's only the rusted on at this stage that I think are going to vote for him, because at the end of the day, the evidence is beyond dispute. This isn't a case really of did he or did he not do it. It's like, no, he did do it, but how much charges can they bring, how in terms of sentencing, etc., etc. It's more about that. We all know what happened. No one's disputing whether or not the hush money payment was made. But also as well, the argument is about how that could have affected the potential outcome of the election, because why else would you kind of shut the story down? Because you knew it wasn't going to look good. Yeah. But again, the hush, the money has shown up here. So, yeah, I would say not so great for Trump, but let's see. He does have Jupiter in his 10th house. And as you heard me say before, Jupiter is a lucky planet. And I'm just worried about this shyness, this support of the justices. Jupiter can represent that as well. So if they go for it, they really have to slam the stable door on this one and make a really good point. Like they say, if you aim for the king, yeah, you have to strike. The strike must be a fatal one. The king, so to speak. It just means like the leader. It's just a saying. Because otherwise the reprieve could be too bad. But I think with all the booing, I think that is showing that in terms of the groundswell of support for Dr. Ranj, that would suggest that he is not as popular as he was before. And maybe, you know, at last people are starting to, you know, come to their senses a bit. I mean, I think they've always been voting for him consciously, but how much do you want the drama really to go on? It's just too much. It's just too much. And then he's breaking wind in court and all of this kind of stuff. Anyway, enough of that. Now let's have a look at Kate. Now I know some, not many of you, but one or two of you are touchy about this. Leave Kate alone. Listen. One of the things that we need to discuss here, she is part of a head of state in the UK. We have a constitutional monarchy, which is supported by the taxpayer. The reason why we have a constitutional monarchy is because, oh gosh, it was King Charles I, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was King Charles I, said, I am anointed by God. You have to do absolutely everything I say, and I don't give a damn, and I'm going to dig my heels in. And what happened to him? He got his head chopped off. Yeah. Then we went into sort of like the interregnum, or we went into a period, I can't remember how long it was, but it was with Oliver Cromwell, and it was very puritanical, and all the theatres were closed, etc., and all of this kind of stuff. And people really started to get bored and tired of that. When Cromwell died, I can't remember under what circumstances he died, and the country quietly rejoiced. And then they brought back King Charles II, if I remember correctly, which is known as the Restoration. So we have the Restoration period, and this is when the theatres boomed again, arts boomed again. He had many, many lovers. He was also known as the Merry King, if I remember correctly. Was known for all of his mistresses and stuff like that, but people were prepared to put up with a bit of impropriety because they'd lived under such austerity under Cromwell, and they were glad to see the back of him. However, the absolute power of the king was forever diminished after that point. And what we actually have, which has lasted to this day and been maybe refined over the years, is that effectively the conditions of the return of the restoration was that the monarch would no longer have absolute power, and that it would always have to negotiate with Parliament. So Parliament is seen as the check on power. This is why when you may or may not have seen with Queen Elizabeth, the late Queen Elizabeth II, when it's called the Queen's Speech, she said, my Parliament is doing blah, blah, blah. My Parliament, same now with Charles, my Parliament is doing this, my Parliament's doing that. They write the speech for the Queen or the King, and they read it out, and it's largely a ceremonial role, and they're there in the ermine and the crowns, and it goes to Parliament, and there's black rod and the exchange of the keys and stuff like that. But essentially what it was a check on the monarch's power. And because the monarch can no longer raise taxes, because that's what it used to be before, the king was able to raise taxes for war or whatever projects he wanted to fund. Now, of course, it's only Parliament that can raise taxes. So the role of the monarch is a more ceremonial one. However, it is intrinsic to the British institution, because some of you may or may not know, but the Prime Minister, whoever is Prime Minister, they always see the King or the Queen once a week. Always. Yeah. Every week. The Prime Minister. So imagine with Queen Elizabeth II, who saw, I don't know how, I think it was 14 or 15, prime ministers in her, 72-year reign. Yeah. They would go to her. So that means that Thatcher, Churchill, blah, 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 would have an audience with her every week. Because Rishi Sunak is Prime Minister now, that is now with King Charles. Yeah. So what he does is he goes to King Charles and he says, look, I want to have a snap election. Do you approve to dissolve Parliament? And of course, the king gives his consent. He doesn't have much choice. But so what happens is Now in the UK, Parliament is dissolved. There is no more politics going on in terms. Now it's all about the campaigning, because we're going to be having our general election on July the 4th, yeah, American Independence Day, which I don't think is a coincidence at all, by the way. And as you know, I've got different opinions of why this whole thing has happened at this time in the first place. So, and then the royal family have taken what I think to be, well, it's maybe not quite unprecedented, but it certainly doesn't happen very often. And they've said they're not going to do any major events and stuff like that, you know, for up to 6 weeks. I think there's still going to be the trooping of the colour. But let's just put it this way. The Queen never did such things. When there was an election, she just got on with it. Yeah. Because, of course, the king or the queen in the UK is also a head of state. They're saying as well that they're also going to cancel the visit from the Emperor of Japan. Now, this is a big deal. They're saying that they're potentially gonna cancel that, and for me, I'm just like, the whole thing stinks. These things are planned months in advance, and you're not supposed. It's just not the done thing. It's just not the done thing. You certainly should still have him. Yes, it may be, you know, whatever, but this was prearranged anyway. So when people say, like in the comments, or they may comment on other videos and stuff like that, and when people say, oh, why do the British people put up with this? Why don't they just get rid of them? We can't. Yeah. The only way that we could get rid of monarchs, yeah, in the past, was to chop their heads off. That's what happened to King Charles I. That's how he was gotten rid of. Yeah. Since then, there's been agreement. There is a union of crown and state. They are an intrinsic part of the architecture of the legal and political structure of the UK. They are the heads of state. So King Charles, for example, just like Queen Elizabeth II, is the head of state of the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland, also the head of the Church of England, and also the head of the Commonwealth, which also encompasses over 50 countries now. And this also includes Canada and Australia and New Zealand, plus the other countries where the monarch is the head of state. So it's not like this. A lot of people just like, oh, why didn't they just... No, we're talking about something that is an integral part of the mechanism of government in the UK, and it has been thus for hundreds of years, literally hundreds of years. So it's not something that can just be flicked off or overthrown, because it is the royal family is an integral part of the functioning of the state. Even though it's ceremonial, there's actually a tremendous amount of power there. And in fact, while Parliament is dissolved, a lot of people don't know that King Charles actually is technically the head of state at that point, because the Prime Minister is no one can pass any laws, etc., and all of that stuff. So I wanted to give that overview, that little bit of that history lesson there. Forgive me if there's any imperfections there, or if I've misspoken or misremembered anything. A lot of that was off the top of my head, but I think that's broadly correct. And so because they can't raise tax anymore, they need money, and it's called the civil list. And the civil list, again, is an agreement between the state and the crown, that the crown will be funded because it's no longer able to raise taxes on the people. Do you see how I mean? So they get this stipend, which is now, of course, worth billions. And of course, they've tax relief, and, you know, and they can also as well, like the Duchy of Cornwall, for example, which King Charles owns, you know, organic food, etc., sold in Waitrose, the whole lot, which is why it was also interesting as well, why, you know, Meghan's jam was so frowned upon. And it's like, I can literally go and buy the products of King Charles. All I have to do, I just have to go to Waitrose, and it's there. I can buy his jam. It's all delicious, by the way, all organic, you know, whatever stuff, you know, most of it, I think almost all of it made in Britain. But literally, I can go to the shops and I can buy his jam, or his lemon curd, or his eggs from the estate, or whatever. So I'm just wanting the reason why I've labored that point, I want you guys to understand just how much the royal family are an integral part of the fabric of Britain. And this has been going on for, you know, a very long time. And you know, we've had kings in this country for at least 1,000 years. And let's not forget, London itself is an ancient city founded by the Romans. So we're talking thousands of years of history. And Westminster Abbey, which is opposite the Houses of Parliament, is over 1,000 years old. And that's the traditional place where the kings and queens have literally been crowned and anointed, etc. And Charles's ceremony was no different. So I'm just letting you guys know it's not something that can be just like picked out. However, of course, if there is too much scandal and if certain things have happened, then, you know, that is a huge threat to the monarchy. So let's read on Kate. So I just felt I had to get that detail out, because sometimes people say things and it's like, it's like for me, do you see how I never try and be absolutist about what I believe about America or anyone's country? And I try and be polite as well. And unfortunately, you know, quite a lot of the YouTubers have been very rude about the people of Britain. I'm not going to say any names, but if you watch my channel, you probably know some of the characters that I'm talking about. And for me, in my opinion, that kind of stuff is uncalled for. You don't need to insult people's nations, and, you know, you like insult like the people and be like, oh, they're all under the blah blah blah. You think we don't get it in the UK? You think we don't understand like how all this stuff works? You know, we've been doing this a long time. It's a long time. So and you're hearing that from the horse's mouth. And I've actually when I used to work in events, I used to work for the royal family, and I've worked in a lot of those events, a lot of those palaces and stuff like that. So it's a different experience when you're in there and you've seen it from the inside. When you've seen Prince Harry and Prince William, when, you know, before their rift, playing polo in front of Castle whatnot, and you're topping up, you know, the champagne, or when I was running the bar or something like that back in my student days, you know, and when you get to see Prince Charles and, you know, all these characters up close and personal, and read the energy in the room, it's different. Yeah. And when you actually live here, just like, for example, when you know the particular proclivities and stuff of your particular state that even other Americans may not know if they're not from your state. It's the same for me when I'm talking about my own country. You know, there is just stuff, because I'm British, that I know about the royal family. Doesn't mean I can say it all on camera, because I can't. But as a Brit, there's certain things that I know about things, and but I have to drop breadcrumbs. Yeah, breadcrumbs. Trust me. You know, it's very interesting. So let's have a general health check on Kate and see what is going on with her. I still stick by what I said. I think she's having a dark night of the soul moment. I personally don't believe that she's dead, although a lot of people believe that she is. Did she come close to death? Yes, I think she did, because if you look back at my previous videos, very often the death card was coming up. But remember, it's also transformation. I think things are not going nearly as well as they would like to have done. And as I said earlier on in the program, Concha, the Spanish source, is now saying that potentially she's going to have to go back in for more surgery. And in a way that makes sense, because let me get the name. Let me get the name. So some of you may know there's a guy called British guy called Morad Morali. Very entertaining, very entertaining channel. But some of his sources, medical consultants and stuff like that, have given, here we are. So according to what his sources were saying, she's had a subtotal colectomy. Yes. And she could be potentially using, she may also as well, think about it, She may also be having to use a bag at the moment. So if we think of like Lady G, for example, and some of the struggles that she's having and how she's candid and honest she's been about the whole process. So I think, you know, Kate is going through something similar. And you remember back in the day, back in January, February times, I said she's got 3 holes in her stomach. Do you remember me saying that? I said she's got 3 holes in her stomach. In her 6th house in her chart, she's got the Sun, she's got Neptune, and she's got K2. K2 is like a little hole anyway, wherever it is. It's like a vortex. Neptune in the 6th house always causes issues with digestion and stuff, even like nausea. Do you remember she would have those extreme forms of morning sickness while she was pregnant? Something gravillatum. And they say the sun burns a hole in whatever house it's in, except the 10th. She's got in the 6th, which deals with the stomach. So again, all of these things, but this can also deal with illusions and delusions, etc. And like I said, I think there's very much things to do with, you know, eating disorder, things like that, which I think further complicated what was already underlying issues, along with the stress and stuff like that as well, of having to always be perfect Kate. You know, when you've literally got millions of people around the world looking at every stitch that you wear, you're going to be very, very conscious. And guess what? From what I understand, you know, colostomy bags are not very fashionable. Yeah. You certainly, if you're there in your wonderful kind of whatever, do you want the bag dangling over the side? I don't think you do. Yeah. Or how is that going to look when you've got that, you know, tiny waist here and you've got to have this thing coming out? Do you know what I mean? When you start looking at it from that perspective, you're like, ah, yeah. So with this subtotal colectomy, from what I understand, what these sources are saying that she's potentially, the colon may have been entirely removed and the other parts stitched down on, etc. I don't want to go into too much explicit detail, but it is, yeah, that's not easy. And then if you can imagine as well, if you're not able to control the bowels as well, you're probably going to have to wear certain types of undergarments, shall we say. There's so many other stuff along with all the other issues that have been showing up in the cards, etc. So this ain't a leave Kate alone kind of thing. As you can see, my tone is serious. This is genuinely what is most likely going on. And of course, if she has to go back in for more surgery, then of course she's going to have to recover again from the whatevers. But I think there's even more going on, which I've again alluded to in my previous readings. But rather than repeat myself, just go back and watch some of those old videos there, because I've covered that ground in detail when I read Kate's chart, William's chart, and pull tarot for the both of them. I still believe what I said at that time is still relevant, and it is dark night of the soul stuff. But let's just have a general read just to close. And sorry I had to go into so much detail there, but sometimes it's very frustrating, particularly when people who are not from the country that you're born in. And I'm sure you would feel the same if I, you know, or there's been times where people may have felt that I've spoken out of turn about their country, etc. Doesn't normally happen. It was mainly with the Canadians, with you know who and their leader, and that was a long time ago now. But imagine if people are projecting or what they believe to be certainties, and you're kind of looking and it's like, well, actually, it's probably more like this. So I do think she's alive, but it's look. Did you see that? What fell out? Ah, look, she's battling. You saw that? Look, it fell out. That's the signifier. It's a fight. Kate is fighting, and I don't think it's just health. I think it's more. But let's just see what the cards say. All right, let me just pull this down. What is this fight? What is Kate's fight? Princess Catherine, or Kate as we call her in the UK. What is her fight? What is her fight? Look at this. This is interesting. Very interesting. So that's the cards that you saw. What is Kate's fight? What is, if you see here with the Seven of Swords, this is the person fighting, trying to defend themselves on the hill from attack. So look, I have to say what I see. If this triggers your inner princess, yeah, and you feel that I'm pooing all over, you know, a wonderful fairy tale, I have to say what I see. This is the card of fighting and defending oneself, isn't it? And you saw it fell out. So Spirit is saying this is the energy of what Kate is in now. So it means she's fighting several different battles. This could be her fighting for her health, obviously, but she's fighting other things as well. Also, as well, what came out in the royal press, they said that she's surrounded by her birth family. Yeah, birth family. What does that mean? And that's in print. That's out there. That's not even speculation. If we look here, now that's the signifier. So this is we can see this as the main body of the reading. Choices to make. She's not sure what to do. Yeah. There's really key and important choices that she needs to make, but there's also potentially something that she doesn't want to face as well. And it's a really important decision that she's trying to make. One that she may not want to face, or one that is very awkward or difficult in some kind of way. Here, if we look here, it's like she is feeling hostage. I mean, look at the card. This is how Kate is feeling. There's some difficult choice that she needs to make that she's not wanting to face, and she's feeling like hostage, constrained, unable to move freely. Yeah, if we look here, the palace is in the background, and this person is having to what? Navigate on their own, partially blindfolded. Yeah, but you see here, they're walking in the water. Very much the water also deals with the subconscious and stuff like that. But the bonds are loose. This is also a card as well, which can talk about getting oneself into a predicament and then trying to get out of it. However, I feel like it's a little bit more difficult for her to get out of this situation. And she's probably feeling hemmed in and trapped in some kind of way. Again, as you can see, I'm just saying what I see, yeah, based on my experience. However, look at this. Here we have the Sun card, and it's turning up in the middle. Now, the Sun is all about what? Illumination. It's also a summer card as well. Now, they're saying we're not going to see Kate for, for the rest of the year. So, she ain't going to be turning up at the Royal Chelsea Flower Show. That's already happened, and it's unlikely she's going to be turning up at Wimbledon. For me, I always said if she doesn't turn up at Royal Chelsea Flower Show, which she didn't, and certainly if she doesn't turn up at Wimbledon, something's not right. Yeah, because she adores those things there. But this is also enlightenment, disclosure, the full light of something. So the full light of something is going to come out, perhaps about what's been going on. If we look here we have the juggling, yeah, the juggling. But here, this is the balancing out. It isn't just about money. It's about situations, trying to juggle a situation with the choppy seas in the background. But this is also a card that deals with manipulation. So there's a bit of manipulation going on here. What is being juggled? Is this Kensington Palace trying to juggle, balance everything that is going on, because they're not a trusted source anymore, and people are picking apart absolutely everything that they put out. It could be true, maybe it's not true, but now the trust is not there. Also, as well, let's not forget as well, remember what CNN said. CNN said they are not to be a trusted source, and they are like North Korea. Imagine that. Getty Images issued a kill order on that picture. That doesn't happen. Only North Korea and Iran get that kind of thing. However, look, there's some positivity here. Look, maybe, just maybe, she is slowly but surely clawing back her strength. Yeah, here is the last card. It's the outcome card. I'm going to take it at face value. It looks like she is building up her strength. So what my instinct is, Kate isn't just battling her health. she's having to dig deep and find courage, because she's in it. To me, it's like she's kind of like in the battle of her life in a way. It's like she's in the battle of her life to hold everything, to try and hold everything together. But she has to make a difficult decision. Yeah. Something she feels she may have got herself into and is trying to maybe get out of it. You know, could it be the marriage or something like that? But there is going to be full illusion and disclosure. You know, the world is going to see at some point. See what? Maybe the manipulations, yeah, the juggling that's been going on, the, you know, the fake photography, accusations of AI, and that farm thingy bob was staged, by the way. The Sun basically admitted it. But look, she's having to dig deep and find her strength. So I'm going to say, hopefully, we hope that she recovers. And like I said, I wish her the best in terms of her health. I don't have like these personal opinions about Kate or what her character is, what she said or didn't say. This is clearly a woman who's in distress, and she is a mother of 3, and people, you know, need to remember that as well. I will leave it there. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you found that interesting. Please don't forget as well to like and subscribe and share and click the bell notification so you're always aware of my videos. If you'd like to support the channel, then of course it'd be great if you would like to get the book and enjoy it as much as everyone else. That would be wonderful. Or if you're not able to donate, then you can also watch an ad as well. Like I said, count to 11, but it really does actually help. It really does help support the channel. I want to thank you for all of your support and all of the views and the positive feedback as well, which has been great. You know, 1 or 2 negative you get, and that's just part of life. I don't bleach my comments, as you guys know, whatever's there, unless someone says something really rude. Do you know what I mean? Because you got to keep it real. Got to keep it real. But I hope you guys found that interesting and those cards were insightful. So when we think back of Alito, yeah, we can see the machinations there. That Clarange, you know, looking a little bit dicey. We'll have to see if Jupiter will help him out. And then with Kate, we see those struggles there. But let's take some hope in that strength card, and may she make a full recovery. But as I said before, she will never, ever be the same again. Like I said, she's gone under an extreme transformation. Remember as well, there is quite a lot of spirituality in Kate's chart, and I really believe she's been going through a lot of things. It is not going to be the same if, and I think that is a genuine, if she returns to public life at all. But let's hope that she's going to gather her strength. Okay, I will leave it there. Thank you so much, everyone. This is going to go up to membership. You'll probably see this on Wednesday by the time it's out. All right. Mwah! Big love, and bye-bye for now. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.